Hey, what is up, everybody? Michael Crump back here again, talking about the latest and the greatest in PlayStation homebrew news and much, much more. So, today I wanted to make a video on a console which is the PlayStation 2. So, if you've been following my channel, you've seen a lot of content around the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. But today I wanted to revisit the PlayStation 2 by talking about a couple of ways that I traditionally have been able to boot backup images. The very first one is by using this CD right here called HD Advanced. Now, I was using HD Advanced with a PS2 that already had a mod chip installed into it. Basically, what would happen would be I would boot up this disk right here, and then I would be able to use the network adapter as well as an IDE hard disk drive in order to load or to play backup games. So as time has went by, we've primarily moved to free McBoot. Now, I bought this 64 megabyte free McBoot card, but then from there, I have a video which I'll link to on where I show you how to create your own free McBoot card and get it completely updated to version 1.966. But my goal for today isn't to use HD Advanced or any of these free McBoot cards, but instead just use the network adapter as well as an IDE hard disk drive and install something called Free HD Boot, which will allow us to boot up to free McBoot without a memory card, without using this CD right here called HD Advanced, and instead use one of the newer or more updated OPLs or Open PlayStation Launcher applications. So let's see how we would do that. And before we get started, keep in mind that this tutorial is only for the PlayStation 2 Phat model. So here is actually one of my original PlayStation 2 Phat models, as well as it's got the network adapter already onto it. And yes, it has been scuffed up because I've had many moves since this originally came out, which is when I bought it. So there was a number of things that I really liked about the Phat model versus the slim models that are out right now. Primarily, the thing that I liked the absolute most was that I could use a hard disk drive and insert it inside of the PlayStation 2 by using the network adapter. So here is an image of the official Sony HDD expansion accessory. Now, you'll notice that this one does have a line in as well as a network jack, and this only will connect to IDE hard disk drive. Now, this one will only connect to an IDE hard disk drive. Now, obviously, there is a ton of options if you want to get a third-party adapter that uses some of the drives such as SATA, which is a lot more easily available versus some of these older IDE hard disk drives. And here is the back of the PlayStation 2. And as you can see right here, it is just waiting for you to add a hard disk drive and then insert it into the back of the PlayStation 2. Now, I was able to pick up a couple of Maxtor drives on some of my local classified ads, which is one of the drives that is compatible with the Phat PS2s. Now, as you can see, I've highlighted the model number as well as the model number from a screenshot that was from the website that I have listed below. I'll obviously add this in to the description below so you can go and you can check yours before you buy it. Now, there is a few other things that you will need before you get started. The first thing that you will need is going to be some sort of way to use USB in order to hook up the IDE or the SATA drive that you buy. The other thing that you will need is going to be some sort of power adapter to power the hard disk drive. As you can see right here, this will go into the back of the IDE hard disk drive and will provide it sufficient power in order for me to go ahead and to copy files to it. And here is just another shot of the IDE or SATA to USB adapter. Again, you can get these on Amazon or a number of different places for pretty cheap. And then finally, when it's all kind of put together, you basically put the hard disk drive onto the network adapter and then just push it directly into the back of the PlayStation 2. Okay, so once you have your drive being recognized by Windows, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to Disk Management. So you just type that into the Windows search and you should get this application. Now, my disk 1 is going to be the disk that I'm going to use for my PlayStation 2 ISO files. So one thing that you will want to make sure of is that if there is any allocated space, you're going to want to remove that volume in order to make the entire drive show as unallocated. Let's just go ahead and do that with this drive that I have right here. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to select delete volume, and we're going to hit yes here. And once that's complete, it shows that that entire drive is unallocated. And that's exactly how we're going to want to start this process. Next up, you're going to want to download all of the files. So I have a RAR file that I will include into the description below. And you're going to want to simply download that RAR file and then just extract it onto your hard disk drive. Then you'll have all of the applications and all of the files that you'll need in order to make this successful. Okay, so once you get everything extracted, we are going to begin by launching HDD raw copy 1.10 portable.exe in the administrator mode. Once you get that loaded, you should see this option here that says File, and you should see raw FHDB _V1_966. Okay, and if you don't see it, you can go ahead and double click on this file and just make sure you have selected the image file that I have located right here. Once you do that, go ahead and select open, and that's going to be the file that you're going to need, and press the continue button. Once you press the continue button, now you need to select the hard disk drive that you want to copy to. Mine is going to be right here. It's on the USB port and it is the Maxtor hard disk drive. Make sure that you obviously select the proper hard disk drive before you press the continue button. So we'll go ahead and press that button now. Okay, and now you will get this screen that just wants you to verify that you have the source and the target correct. Everything looks good on our end, so we're going to go ahead and press the start button. And keep in mind that all of the data that's already on that disk will be removed. So give this a little bit of time and then it will be finished, as mine is right now. Now we're going to run the winhiip.exe as an administrator. So let's go ahead and do that. And so the very first thing that we need to do is we need to actually select the drive. So let's go to select drive. And as you can see, drive 0 is my PC, and then drive 1 should be showing up here as PS2. So we're going to select PS2 drive 1. And what this application is going to do for us is that it's going to load the ISO images onto the hard disk drive in a format that Open PlayStation Loader will be able to recognize and be able to play. So what we need to do now is we need to go down to the bottom to where it says Add Images. And then from here, we need to select Add Images again. And here, I'm actually just going to select Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.iso and press OK. And then finally, you need to just press the Start button here. And at this point, it will begin copying that ISO image to the hard disk drive. And so you'll typically want to make sure that this information is correct. But then once it is, just press the OK button here, and it will start adding it to your hard disk drive. Again, keep in mind that you could add multiple ISO images at the same time instead of doing them individually. Okay, so once it says the images have been installed, let's press the OK button. Okay, so I decided to add to this video an option in case you don't want to install free HD boot, but instead you just want to image a IDE or SATA hard disk drive that the PlayStation 2 would recognize. So if you want to do that, the very first thing you're going to want to do is to run this program right here called Windows HDL Image Program, and go to where it says Select Drive, and then we're going to select Drive 1, which is our Maxtor hard disk drive. And once we do that, we will get this message that pops up here because, again, remember, this is a completely clean hard disk drive. In order for us to use this into our PlayStation 2, it does have to have a valid PS2 master boot record. But that's okay, we can fix that up very easy. So we'll go to OK here. And let's click on Options, and we can leave everything here pretty much as the default. So just make sure yours looks like mine, and then press OK there. And then click on Format Drive down at the bottom. And everything here is also going to be automatically set for what it needs to be. So you can just simply press the OK button again, and it's going to say, are you sure that you want to format the selected hard drive? We're going to select yes here, and OK again. And we'll give this a little bit of time, and then we will have a hard disk drive that we can just plug and play into any PlayStation 2s, and at least that drive will be recognized as a valid PlayStation 2 drive. We'll see the HDL settings partition has been created, and we will just press OK there. And again, we want to go ahead and press OK one more time here. Okay, so now we have our hard disk drive that has been loaded with a couple of different games. Let's go ahead and let's plug that into the back of our PlayStation 2. And there it goes. Okay, so let's get this tightened up. Okay, so now we will no longer need that HD Advanced disk nor the free McBoot card that I already have installed in the PlayStation 2. So let's just go ahead and remove that. And so now we just have the bare PlayStation 2. Let's go ahead and load it up, and we get free HD boot. So from this prompt here, we just need to scroll down and select OPL, and we're going to go into settings, and we're going to change the HDD device start mode to auto here, and then make sure that you save the settings. And now the only thing that we really need to do is just run the OPL 1515 all. So let's go ahead and run that application. And there is Open PlayStation Loader, and it does load very fast. So you will need to press the circle button in order to search and make sure that it picks up all of your hard disk drive games. And so let's go ahead and we're going to run Star Trek Voyager Elite Force with the X button. So let's go ahead and run that game. And there it is, running in all of its glory. Okay, by the way, this is a very good game. If you have not played it before, I would highly recommend it. Great game. Okay, so that is going to do it for this one. I just wanted to show a little bit more up-to-date way of loading backups, especially if you have a network adapter and a hard disk drive. This is my preferred method to run backups in 2022. Okay, so thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Michael out.